Making the case for GMetrix funding. This webinar is designed to bring to you different ways to make the case for GMetrix funding within your school and organization. Funding is a major obstacle when it comes to adding the GMetrix program to our schools. Many schools don't have the funding, and some just do not want to allocate the funding. Fran from West Johnston High School in Benson, North Carolina, is a Microsoft certified educator and an FBLA and DECA advisor. Fran is coming to us to share how she was able to fund GMetrix in not only one, but two counties within North Carolina, one of them being the biggest county within North Carolina. She has also escalated herself to a GMetrix expert resource, assisting in finding funding, making the case for funding, training teachers on how to use it, and an all-around advocacy for GMetrix and certification.
Hi, my name is Fran Clark, and Nicole asked me to pop into your webinar today and talk a little bit about GMetrix and how my story on how I got funding to have it in my school, because I'm assuming anybody that's in this webinar with Nicole today likes GMetrix and just isn't sure how to get it paid for in their school. So I wanted to talk a little bit about it. I've done it in 2 different schools, and then I have some other ideas too. So let's get started. Creative ways to get funding. Just a little bit about why we want GMetrix. First of all, we can have the kids take practice tests that are formatted just like the certification test and know when they're really ready to take the certification test. When they can get a 70 or above on that practice test, then they can probably pass the certification test. My favorite are the skills reports. Every time I do a unit with my students, and then I make them a custom test for that unit, they then take a GMetrix custom test, and I pull a report, and it gives me a breakdown of all the skills. And these are specific, not general like Certiport gives them. And they're very easy to understand. They're color-coded. Yellow means kind of got it, green means they got it, and red means uh-oh, they don't have it. So then I know I need to remediate before I start the next unit. And then the last thing, hey, as a teacher, I love anything that will grade itself. It's wonderful, but even better, it's giving our students instant feedback. Okay, we can't give students instant feedback. I can't walk around and watch them and tell them, oh, you're doing this great. Even with the classwork that they're doing and they're turning in, I don't have time to make little comments and say, oh, you did this wrong, or you did this wrong, or this is great. Where GMetrix, they can do a task on a custom test, click the next button, and it'll tell them if it's right or wrong. It'll even let them do it over and have a help button to help them do it. So it's really a great product, and I love it. But here's the problem for you guys, and for me too at the time. How do we pay for it? Because I got a demo when I went to summer conference 10 years ago. Played around with it for until school started, and I loved it. But I knew how much it was. I knew that my consumable money that I get was not going to pay for it. So what I did in Johnson County, the county I'm in right now, and this was about 10 years ago, like I said, is I went ahead, even before school started, and I made an appointment with my CT director. I emailed him and said, hey, I got a great demo at the summer conference. I would really like to use it, but it's $1,200. That's how much it was 10 years ago. I'm not really sure how much it is now. I went through the program, took screenshots, made a presentation for my director, showed him what it could do, and he loved it. I mean, I really went into detail with this program about how it worked and what it could do and what I thought it could do for my students, but I didn't know at that time. So I volunteered to be the test case for the county and get statistics and meet back with him at the end of the school year if he would just pay for it and show him how I did. And if it worked good for me, he could keep paying for it for me, or if it really, really worked great, he said he would pay for it probably for the whole county if I agreed to help train the teachers, and I agreed. So, the end of that, before school started, I ran a report from the year before and got all my statistics about how many kids got certified the first time, how many kids took 2 times to certify, 3 times, never got certified. Then after the end of the school year, I ran another report, and it was amazing. I made graphs, I made tables, I really showed them how the big effect of being able to use GMetrix is getting them certified the first time instead of having to do 2 and 3 times. Why is that important? Well, many states, including our own, are limiting the amount. We used to have unlimited amount of certifications. We could give it to them 5 times, 10 times. It didn't matter how many times it took them to get certified. We had plenty of vouchers that the kids could use. But now we have a limited amount depending on how many kids you've gotten certified the year before. And I don't know what your state does, but that's what my state is doing. So we can't just keep testing students that didn't pass the first time anymore. We have to get them past the first time if at all possible. And using GMetrix, we can be much more certain when they're ready. Also, it just keeps the class moving. Before, it was like I would test everybody on one day, and then the next day I would, with a vague report that I would get from Certiport about how they did, I would try to remediate and figure out, what maybe they didn't do right. And then we'd have to retest, and it was a 2 and 3 week process every time. And then the kids that were certified, they're just sitting around doing nothing. So if you've got kids that's certified and you have GMetrix, you can get them starting on maybe Word Expert. So the results, even after 10 years, my county still pays for any of the schools that are using GMetrix. And my school in particular always places in the top of our state with the amount of certified students. This was, I was at the summer conference in 2018, and they were doing a PowerPoint presentation. I didn't even know, and all of a sudden I saw the name of our high school up here. We had gotten more certified than any other high school in our division, and really almost as much as the schools that are bigger. I mean, our school only has 1,400 kids. These schools have 3,000 kids in them, so we were doing good. All right, so I then for 1 year moved to the county, one of the largest counties in our state, and they were absolutely not paying. The county was so big, the bigger the county is, the more they don't want to pay for these programs. So I knew I could never get an appointment with a CTE director too. So what I did, it was a big school. I talked to the other Microsoft teachers and asked them, hey, can you put in your consumable money? There was enough of us teaching it that we could put our consumable money together and purchase GMetrix for just our school. So they all pitched in, and the principal pitched in the little extra that didn't cover. And so I trained the other teachers to use it, and it was amazing how much. And our school actually had a high percentage of the low flying students. We had such an increase that I found out a couple years after I left that the county then went through and saw the increase in the statistics in our school and started paying for it for the whole county. So it worked. So just some other ideas, if those won't work for you or you need some other options. The first option, Donors Choose, I've actually used this for other projects, and I talk about this at our summer conference when I do the GMetrix session, and I've had some teachers come back and tell me that they did get funding for this. But if you go on to donorschoose.org, you just have to fill out a little bit about what the project is, why it's important, what you're paying for, and someone hopefully will pick up on your project and fund it for you. It's pretty cool. The other thing is social media. Now, I've used social media to get, I need markers for my projects, and I'll put out on my social media, hey, anybody want to hit me with a big box of markers for my class? And invariably, an Amazon box will arrive shortly thereafter. So I'm thinking, you might not know who's on your social media or who's friends of your social media. I say, hey, share this, help me out. I need a goal here. So that's another thought. And then my favorite, because I'm an FBLA and DECA advisor, CTSOs, most of us deal with CTSOs, and we probably deal with corporations to help us get our kids ready for competitions. But have you ever thought of maybe hitting one of them up and asking them, hey, would you be willing to sponsor this software program for me? It never hurts to ask. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. corporations love tax write-offs, trust me. And if it wasn't somebody that you were already working with on your CTSO, hey, now they could be, and or they could be a guest speaker for your class. So this is another great idea. So that's my spiel. That's my ideas for creatively funding. Here's my email address. If you're interested in talking to me about it further, just hit me up, francesclark@johnson.k12.nc.us. Love to hear from you. Thanks for listening to me.
A few things that I would like to highlight. Fran was introduced to the GMetrix program at summer conference, and she received a demo. She played around with the demo a bit, and then after she found out that her county CTE director was setting goals for the Microsoft credentialing program, but they were not meeting the goals, she went to them with GMetrix. She met with the director, she laid out a plan, and she told him simply, if you pay for GMetrix, I'm going to show you the growth that you are seeking. At the end of the year, she was able to show him way beyond the growth goal that had been set. He was so happy with the progress that he bought the software for the entire county. They are a small to mid-sized high school, yet they were continuously having the most certified students within the state of North Carolina, and she attributes this to utilizing the GMetrix program. That is incredible. And as she mentioned at the time, the GMetrix program was only $1,200. So imagine the ROI, return on investment, that this $1,200 brought to this school. Not only that, but the accolades, the attention that the program brought to the school because of the pass rate that they were achieving. Fran states that the reason for her success is not just using the pre-made tests that have all the questions and the test questions, but by developing custom tests that students could use throughout the course. They were also able to see that they have to capitalize words and spell them correctly within the program, or they would be marked incorrect when testing. Once they get comfortable over time with the constraints, so they don't freak out when they only have 50 minutes to complete the certification, being able to practice the skills and get immediate feedback while in training mode is another one of the amazing features that Fran found, utilized, and talked up to the others within the GMetrix program. The custom tests allow the students to perform a task and found out immediately if they did it right or wrong. They could also get a hint with the step-by-step instructions to help them perform the skills correctly and answer the questions correctly. Also, the variety of questions just made it so much easier for the students with different learning abilities. And again, she attributes a lot of the success to the custom assessments that are that you're able to make with GMetrix, and they're great for skill development. Thank you for joining us. I want to invite you to stay connected with us through the GMetrix Facebook and LinkedIn pages. Also, like and subscribe to the GMetrix official YouTube page to receive instant alerts of new content postings, review previous webinars, and our FAQ channel, where we will be posting videos addressing the most frequently asked questions. If you have a FAQ that you would like us to do a video for, please make sure to include that on their survey.